Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. Karl Marx is the best-known advocate for communism. Milton Friedman is the best-known advocate for free market capitalism. Marx is the author of the Communist Manifesto and the three-volume Das Kapital, and continues to have major influence on progressive policy, the union movement, and academic thought. Milton Friedman won the Nobel Prize in Economics, and The Economist magazine called him, quote, the most influential economist of the second half of the 20th century, possibly of all of it. Here I stitch together some of their popular quotations. A few times I've added a connective to make it seem a bit more like a conversation. We'll start with Marx. Capital is dead labor, which, vampire-like, lives only by sucking living labor, and lives the more labor it sucks. Owners of capital will stimulate the working class to buy more and more of expensive goods, houses, and technology, pushing them to take more and more expensive credit until their debt becomes unbearable. The unpaid debt will lead to bankruptcy of banks, which will have to be nationalized, and the state will have to take the road, which will eventually lead to communism. Friedman. First of all, tell me, is there some society you know that doesn't run on greed? You think Russia doesn't run on greed? You think China doesn't run on greed? What is greed? Of course, none of us are greedy. It's only the other fellow who's greedy. The world runs on individuals pursuing their separate interests. The great achievements of civilization have not come from government bureaus. Einstein didn't construct his theory under order from a bureaucrat. Henry Ford didn't revolutionize the automobile industry that way. The only cases in which the masses have escaped from the kind of grinding poverty you're talking about are where they have had capitalism, and largely free trade. If you want to know where the masses are worst off, it's exactly in the kinds of societies that depart from that. The record of history is absolutely crystal clear. There is no alternative way so far discovered of improving the lot of the ordinary people that can hold a candle to productive activities unleashed by the free enterprise system. Marx says, no, equality is justice. Democracy is merely the road to socialism. A heavy or progressive income tax is necessary for the proper development of communism. Friedman. We have different ideas of what is fair. The great virtue of a free market system is that it does not care what color people are. It does not care what their religion is. It cares only whether they can produce something you want to buy. It is the most effective system we have discovered to enable people who hate each other to deal with one another and help one another. Marx. Religion is part of the problem. It anesthetizes. Religion is the sigh of the oppressed creature, the heart of a heartless world, and the soul of soulless conditions. It is the opium of the masses. Friedman. Here is why our already partly socialist system hurts the people and society. We have a system that increasingly taxes work and subsidizes non-work. When unions get higher wages for their members by restricting entry into an occupation, those higher wages are at the expense of other workers who find their opportunities reduced. When government pays its employees higher wages, those higher wages are at the expense of the taxpayer. But when workers get higher wages and better working conditions through the free market, when they get raises by competing with one another for the best jobs, those higher wages are at nobody's expense. The whole pie is bigger. There's more for the worker, but there's also more for the employer, the investor, the consumer, and even the tax collector. That's the way the free market system distributes the fruits of economic progress among all people. That's the secret of the enormous improvements in the conditions of the working person over the past 2 centuries. Excuse me a second. Marx. But that's not justice. We need to keep people from their history, and they are easily controlled. Take away a nation's heritage, and they are more easily persuaded. The education of all children, from the moment that they can get along without a mother's care, shall be in state institutions. Friedman. You're undervaluing freedom. A free market gives people what they want instead of what a particular group thinks they ought to want. The only way that has ever been discovered to have a lot of people cooperate together voluntarily is through the free market. A society that puts equality before freedom will get neither. Most economic fallacies derive from the tendency to assume there's a fixed pie, that one party can gain only at the expense of another. There is no such thing as a free lunch. Marx concludes, there's not a free lunch, but there is a better lunch. Workers of the world unite. You have nothing to lose but your chains. So my object in life is to dethrone God and destroy capitalism. The theory of communism may be summed up in one sentence. Abolish all private property. From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. The communists openly declare that their ends can be attained only by the forcible overthrow of all existing social conditions. We have no compassion, and we ask no compassion from you. When our turn comes, we shall not make excuses for the terror. The last capitalist we hang shall be the one who sold us the rope. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.